Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Lucas Live. So glad to have you guys here today. It is Sunday, May 24th. You guys see I had to look down because I have a calendar here and I had to make sure I knew what day it was. So glad to have you guys here. If you're watching this by replay, thank you for being here. Don't turn away. If you're not here live, that's okay. We're glad to have you here. Watch the replay. Stay tuned. Enjoy the broadcast. It's going to be a great time today. We're going to be talking to a great guy today who has a lot to offer. He is a doctor, ladies and gentlemen. He is an MD, truly a doctor working in the field of sports medicine. He's done it for many years. He's going to share some stories and some insight about that. But not only that, he doesn't only work with broken bones, he works with broken men. He helps men pull their lives together, men who have had a level of success, be it in business or as entrepreneurs, yet they are not necessarily finding the success in their faith or in their personal lives, with their wives, their families, their children. He helps men pull all those things together. I love that this guy is in the business of healing. Not just healing, like I said, bones and joints, but he's in the business of healing hearts and minds and spirits and souls. And it's a really, really exciting thing that we're going to be talking about today. I'm really excited to have everybody here again today. Please share this broadcast. Even if you're watching by replay, you can share it. If you're watching this on YouTube, give it a like. Subscribe to the channel. Join in for the long haul. Hit that bell icon on YouTube and hit all so you get all the notifications. You don't want to miss this show. This show comes on 5 days a week. You don't want to miss it. Okay, so that's how you're going to get your notifications. To everybody joining us on whatever platform you're on, we want you to know that you're appreciated here at Lucas Live. If you're on LinkedIn, if you're on Facebook, if you're on YouTube, if you're on Periscope, welcome to the party. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the discussion. Please join in on the discussion for those who are watching live. If you're watching by replay, still comment, still engage, still participate in this. We'll see your comments, and we will have opportunities to come back and have discussion with you guys about this great topic. So again, I want to welcome everyone to the show. I see you guys joining in. I see you guys sharing. Please keep sharing. Please keep letting other people know they don't want to miss this. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I do understand, for those of you who are here live, it is a holiday weekend. It is a holiday weekend on the back end of quarantine season. Well, what we hope to be the back end of quarantine season. We don't know, but they kind of let the doors open. They kind of unlocked us a little bit, and they said you can go out a little bit and do a couple things. So now is a time where we are starting to get out for the first time in a long time for many people. And families, I know a lot of families are going to get together and have some cookouts and do their Memorial Day thing. While some things will still be closed, more things will be open. Ladies and gentlemen, we want to encourage you in this season to be safe. Be careful out there, okay? Doesn't mean you can't get out there with your family and friends. Doesn't mean you can't throw something good on the grill. But be safe out there. But more importantly, enjoy your time with those you love. I think this season has reminded us that tomorrow's not promised. Everything going on in the world, I hope we realize that tomorrow's not promised. We don't know what's going to happen. We don't know if it's going to be something that happens to a loved one because of the pandemic or because of any other reason. Now is a season to grab those that you love and let them know you love them. If you haven't seen a loved one in a while and you're going to see them this holiday weekend, let them know you love them in a safe way. You know, you want to let them know, but you want to keep it safe. So make sure, give them air hugs or something. I don't know. But make sure you guys have a great time this weekend. We thank you guys who are joining us here. I know where I'm at. I'm in Ohio, and this is probably the nicest day we've had in 2020. The sun is out. It's warm. It's beautiful. For those of you, you may be sitting outside somewhere, wherever you're at, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for joining. There's so many other options, so many other things that you could be doing. The fact that you've tuned in with us matters. We want to thank you for that. We want to thank you for being here. Sharice, Grantham, I see you. Angela Hardesty, JJ, Lily, Jeanette, thank you guys for being here. We're so glad to have you guys here on the broadcast today, amongst many others. Please feel free to make comments. We'll see your comments, and it'll bring you into the show. When you're watching regular shows on TV, we like to let you know that here at Lucas Live, your comments can become a part of the show. Your questions can shape the narrative today. You can get a question answered that may be something that you've always wanted to know or someone else wants to know. Again, we're going to talk today about a man who's worked with athletes, and he's worked with others in sports medicine. He's worked with broken joints and broken bones, but he also works to help shape broken men. Share this broadcast right now. Tag somebody right now. You may know someone who's gone through some difficulty. You may know a man or woman or anyone who's going through some tough times right now or has in the past, and they could use some encouragement. Tag someone, invite someone, share this broadcast on your pages, and let other people know that they should join in on this discussion. So, without further ado, I want to bring in our special guest today. Dr. Brad has quite a resume, but with quite a lofty resume, right? His resume is up here, but his mindset is down to earth. His feet are planted firmly on the ground. His faith and his heart is to God and to others. He wants to help other people. He wants people to change their lives. And I'm so glad that we met, and I'm so glad to have him here today. Welcome, Dr. Brad. Thank you for being here today, my friend.
Lucas, what's going on, man? Dude, I absolutely love the energy. I love the energy, man. I'm all about energy. I think other people have energy too. And what they probably don't realize is they probably got up and started sitting in their seat even more just because you came with it, man. So listen, I love it. I appreciate it. Yes, it's Memorial Day weekend. Yes, there's some grilling going on. But like you said, man, hopefully we can bless some people today. And it'll be worth your time. But just the energy alone, I'm glad I'm up here, man. Let's get it cracking.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much. It's the goal every day is to bring energy and bring education, motivation, liberation, and I'm so passionate about it. It's like I want people to learn something today, Dr. Brad. So you're gonna have to teach us something. I don't know if you got it prepared, but you better get ready because we better learn something before the show is over, or I gotta cut the show off. No, we gotta keep it going.
I am ready. I've been infused with energy just by you getting up on this mic and on this screen. So let's make it happen, man. And matter of fact, I'm gonna have to steal your line for me. Healing broken bones and healing. I'm like, hold up, man. I'm stealing that for myself, by the way.
Please, please do. It's so funny because it literally, we were 2 minutes before going live, and literally that hit me. Like, he heals broken bones and broken men. Like, that's who you are. That's what you do. That's from God. That's not from me. So please use it. It was meant to be. I'm so glad. And I just want to start today by you sharing a little bit of your story. You and I talked. Cool journey. Didn't always want to be a doctor, but you got into it. Tell us a little bit about you. Where are you from? How did you get to where you are today? Just from the long view. Who are you?
Yeah. No, I'd be happy to. Again, I'll just start off, man. Thanks for having me on the show. And it was like I was telling some folks on my social media team. I truly believe this is one of the fastest growing, most interesting shows that's happening on social media from a live stream perspective. I honestly do believe that. I don't know what numbers we got to prove that, but I'm speaking that into existence as it is because
Amen.
It's just interesting how we formed a relationship. But I had seen you already doing some things. I was like, yo, like this show seems pretty dope. And then we just happened to cross paths and I believe started a friendship that I think will be pretty cool just moving forward. But thanks for having me. Yeah, so, I'll try to keep it pretty short. From the Houston area, grew up, I'd probably say lower middle class home, both parents, everything was really good, from that perspective. So grew up there, never had an interest to become a doctor or anything like that. I didn't, my parents weren't doctors or lawyers. They weren't even college graduates. They were, they were just trying to do what they could for me. Had two older brothers who, served a huge pivotal role in my life for me, not to make as many mistakes as I could have. So not to say I didn't make mistakes, but they protected me from making some of the same mistakes that they did. And I was an athlete. I was a pretty good basketball player, got to high school, was a 3-year Letterman varsity player there. And I had the injury bug. I had bad ankle, confidence down, didn't play as well as I should or could. Ended up having meniscus surgery on my right knee right out of high school. Went to college and, at that point had no idea what I was going to do. My parents were like, look, you got to work or go to college, but you ain't going to just sit around here.
Right.
So, the hoop dreams to the NBA were gone. But I remember them being so vivid at the time that somehow I would make it to the NBA. But I put that on the shelf. I was like, this is not going to happen. And ended up having surgery. My surgeon was one of the team doctors for the Houston Rockets at the time. And I remember walking in that office and being like, man, this is pretty cool. Like, we see jerseys everywhere, signed Hakeem Olajuwon and Clyde Drexler jerseys. I was like, man, this is pretty cool. Again, at the time, never thinking medicine. And, went to college a couple years, did pretty good, only because I was afraid of failing.
The fear of failure will help you succeed. Yes.
Oh, my gosh. The fear of failure. I was I was sure that I was going to fail college. I mean, it was without a doubt in my mind. I had little confidence that I would do well. So that fear actually propelled me to study more than I would have, and did pretty good, got some confidence. Well, my oldest brother at the time was a nurse. I came home, typical broke college student. I said, I need a job working. And so he got me a job working at the hospital. And that was when I really started understanding mentorship because, well, outside of what my brothers did, I had some doctors who, for whatever reason, believed in me way more than I believed in myself, and found the confidence to say, well, you know what, maybe I can do this doctor thing and do the sports medicine thing and serve the role opposite of where I was as a patient, like the doctor did me. And
Wow.
so then began the journey, man. And my oldest brother and I, at that time, we decided to, apply to medical school, got in, and fast forward, got through the grace of God and some other, leaders and mentors in my life. So I'm just a big believer in mentorship and coaching.
That's
And
so cool.
so, yeah, so got to a point to where my first job out of sports medicine fellowship training, I was working as one of the assistant team physicians for the Dallas Mavericks. Unfortunately, the year right after they won the championship.
Oh man,
But
just missed getting your championship ring. But you
man,
were
just
there. Were you there
missed
for the
it.
ring ceremony?
I was not there for the ring ceremony, but I got a chance to hold the trophy
Okay.
and what was kind of it was kind of the after part. I was there for the after party.
Okay. Right. Right.
Uh,
It lingers for a while. I thought you might get a piece of it. Okay.
exactly. So I was there for the after party, but it was really cool. I mean, the environment in our clinic was just awesome, and I got a chance to be around championship caliber organization, and more importantly, I just, in our world, this doesn't happen where you go from training to one of the first positions that you get is as an assistant team physician. And I owe so much of that to so many other people, particularly one of my mentors in my office, Dr. Sorial, who was their lead team physician, who trusted me to actually, work with the team.
Right.
But I remember, and I told you this story, I remember walking in the locker room the first game of preseason. And I'm walking in the locker room and, I'm dabbing up guys like, Vince Carter and
Wow.
Dirk Nowitzki and all these guys. And it hit me that the dream that I had at one point that was so vivid of me being in the locker room in the NBA had come true, but just an entire different way. And
Wow.
so there's so many different stories of that's happened to me that it encouraged me to do so much more, which I'm sure we'll get into. But that's how I really, got into my career. Been absolutely blessed because of that, and then on, more which I'm sure we'll talk about.
Hey,
So,
great introduction. I appreciate it. It gives people a balance of the story of the journey. I think it's super cool that you and your brother both went to med school. I think you said your brother's quite a few years older than you, right?
that's right.
And you guys
That's
both
right.
went to
Yeah.
med school. I'm sure your parents were pretty proud. Two doctors in the family. Is that right?
My parents are proud. Man, listen, Lucas, I try to tell people, look, anything is possible. I'm sure my basketball teammates, if any of them happen to be watching or watch, they look at me now and be like, man, if I would have told them back then I'd be a doctor, they'd be like, God help us all. You know what I'm saying?
Not
So
Brad. No.
yeah, like I mean, they knew I was kind of motivated, but it was more on the court than anything. So yeah, man, and like I said, we didn't grow up in doctors, lawyers. We just didn't. That was not our neighborhood. That was not our family. Nobody did that. But yeah, my oldest brother, he's 12 years older than me, so we ended up going at the same time. He became an anesthesiologist now in the Houston area. And, I went on to practice both ER and sports medicine, strictly sports medicine now, not so much ER, thank God. I'm not necessarily on the front lines
Man.
with all the COVID stuff going on. But, man, it just starts with the first step, man. Like, I would have never imagined, ever. I remember telling my mom, like, why would anybody want to go to school for so long? It makes no sense.
Right? Most people say that. I've said that a time or two in my life. So to go to school to become a doctor, when you went to college, your first days in college, that wasn't the plan, right? You weren't planning to be a doctor. You were just going to college.
No, no, not at all, man. I mean, dude, I was a kid that wanted to throw up when I saw other people throw up. I was like, oh, no, like I don't. You know what I'm talking
Right,
about? Like
right,
when you're in
right.
elementary school, somebody like, oh
Like,
no.
oh, don't throw up near me because it's gonna be two messes.
I was just geeked out about all that stuff, man. And it just so happened I ended up working in the ER because I was doing both at one point. And I mean, seeing all the bad trauma, the knife and gunfights and all the worst of the worst, and it being nothing to me. So I truly believe, I'm a man of faith. I truly believe God's got a plan despite what we have, in spite of us,
Yes.
and uses us in unique ways. And I would have never. That was not on the game plan for me. Trying to game plan my own life at first. It was I said I'll be a mechanical engineer because I'm just decent at math. But
Okay.
that was me going into college. I was like, I guess I'll do engineering because math is the best out of all the things that I'm bad at. That just happens to be the best.
The best of all the things I'm bad at. I'm just trying to find my way here in life. And now look at you, a doctor. You've worked with professional sports teams, including Dallas Mavericks, which is super cool. I love the story of the fact that you went into that locker room, which was actually a dream of yours, right? You dreamed of being in an NBA locker room. Now, you thought you'd have a ball in your hand instead of a stethoscope or something, but you still made it in there, and you had an opportunity to see that life and live that out. When you talk to people about living their dreams, what do you tell them about, how does that story correlate with others who see themselves somewhere but find themselves there in a different way?
Well, I mean, the reality is, we all have dreams, we all have hopes, but we never know how. And oftentimes we will discount ourselves out of certain dreams because it's not happening the way we wrote the story.
Right?
But the reality is we don't really write our best stories. When you really look at a good story, man, a compelling story, a movie that you want to watch that will keep you watching it the entire time is one of someone truly being tested and then they eventually triumph.
Yes.
We don't want to go through the test.
Right?
We want to be able to map this thing all out and it all look great. And, we really don't go through anything hard and there's no trials. But the reality is I put those dreams on the shelf a long time ago because the way I wrote it was there is no injury. I play for Duke.
Okay.
I become a first round draft pick and everything is great. But, those dreams went away pretty early for me. The confidence went down and had no idea that how vivid those dreams were. And listen, I know anybody who's watching, listening to this, dude, you've got some vivid dreams.
Yes.
You've got dreams that seem so clear. And you probably have a plan for how it's going to happen. But I'm just going to tell you, you got to eliminate the how and just keep taking steps. And I don't know how it's going to happen. If we knew how it was going to happen, it wouldn't be nearly as interesting.
Wow.
And it wouldn't be called faith. It would just be called fact. We don't live fact. We live faith. So, for anybody who's got these hopes and dreams, like it is because of faith why it makes it so interesting. That I don't know how, yet I move as if it is to be.
Yes.
Like faith is an action. It is not this just thing. Like faith, if you're not moving, there is not faith. That's belief. That's trying to believe. But if you have faith, you will move. It is coupled with action.
Yes.
And so, for me, I'm just like, look, if you got those dreams, just keep stepping, man. You're not supposed to know how. Just keep moving. You're not meant to just stay still.
I love it. If you didn't do it, it would be called fact, not faith. That's a quote, ladies and gentlemen. Write that down. If you could see the whole way through, faith is not seeing it. And for so many of us, when we don't see it, we get discouraged, we give up. And the crazier part is other people can't even see the dream, let alone see it happening for us. So sometimes we get discouraged because the people around us are saying, how are you going to be that? You barely wanted to go to school. You sure you're going to be a doctor? You're going to finish this out, or you're going to come out with some degree in something that you're not even going to be able to work with? But you persevered. You kept pushing through. I love that message that we have to push through with faith. And I'm a big believer, like my show, right? And I've probably shared this with you, right? My mom passed away March 26th of this year. Devastating, life-changing. It changed my perspective on everything. Like my lens that I see the world through is not the same. So people who knew me pre losing mom and know me now, my character's the same, my values are the same, but the way I see things, problems, life, my goals, my dreams, it's different. One thing I know is tomorrow's not promised and this life is short. This whole race is short. So what I got to do is get started. I got to start running. So
yes,
roughly maybe 10 days after my mom passed away, I hit go live. I
Yes.
didn't look like this. Okay, I hit go live. I didn't know what the show was called. I was like, I'm going to do a show, everybody. I don't think like 4 people watched it. And in less than 2 months, it's really picked up a lot of steam, but it was because I wasn't afraid to move forward. Now, as someone who deals with people who have injuries, because losing my mom was an injury, right?
Yes.
And I'm still
Yes.
rehabbing, right? I'm still rehabbing.
That's right.
What do you
That's right.
tell people mentally? What do they need to get through a season of injury, be it mental, emotional, or literally physical? What's the secret to that?
Well, let me get to where I am now so that people can get kind of full circle why I encourage and motivate and coach.
Yeah.
So I thought that was the end. I thought once I got out and was working as a physician that that I had made it.
Yeah.
Like this was the end of the career road, if you will. This is where I would be, and God had placed me here because that's what I was supposed to be doing.
Right.
Then I found myself a few years into my career trying to figure out how did I successfully get to where I am now? And I'm working as a physician, and I have all the trappings that everybody would want. I've successfully made it, changed my life, wife, 3 kids, married my high school sweetheart, and all this stuff. And I'm sitting here unfulfilled. And I'm trying to figure out, why am I feeling this way? Why am I unfulfilled? Why do I feel empty? Why do I feel like there's something else out there for me? And I was stuck. I was this successful but stuck guy, and I was outwardly, everybody could see everything seemed to be good, but inwardly, I'm trying to figure this out. And I wrestled with this for a few years, and the reality is this, Lucas, is that God has a plan for every single person. And to me, he is going to lead you there some way or somehow, if you allow him to. And so, I struggle with saying, well, I'm a doctor. Why am I supposed to be doing something else? And it wasn't until I really got in line with him that I was able to say, hey, he was able to really show me, like, look, this is only part of the story. I'm not done yet.
Right.
And so, it was me having to wrestle with the fact that I have something of greater purpose. Yes, your career where you get paid, but I've got a calling of why you were made. Like, that's the thing. And so
wait, hold on. Now we like to pause and collect our gems here on Lucas Live. We got to collect the gems because we trying to build treasure here. So, say that again about what we're paid. What happened?
Yeah. So, to me, the message, and this is the message that I give to men, is you have a career where you're getting paid, but your calling is why you were made.
Wow.
And so I was wrestling with me fully being genuinely full out me. There was something else that wanted to come out. And I feel like there was something of greater purpose, something of greater impact, something of greater significance that I was supposed to be doing for someone else. And I was like, how is that supposed to be? Because I became a doctor. And it wasn't until I got close to him was I able to get clarity on what I was supposed to be doing.
Wow.
And I feel like, and the reason I speak to men, this is for a lot of people, it's not just for men, but I feel like we can't truly get clarity and then have confidence in who we're supposed to be until we get close to God. Like, we just can't. Wow. We are all trying to just fully express who we are. We're just trying to express our genuine, normal self. And to me, when I hear you say, like, man, mom died and I just had to move, like, we're all trying to move in that direction that we're supposed to, in the direction that God says, listen, I have a reason for why you're here. And to be congruent with your movement and what he's called you to do. And when that happens, that's when you're in that right spot. That's when you're in the sweet spot. Most of us are too fearful to do that.
Wow. So, okay, this is really important. And ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Brad specializes in helping men. And I said it Broken Bones and Broken Men. He really specializes in that. And ladies, don't turn off this broadcast because you need to listen in, because whether you're single and hoping to have a husband, or you're dating, or you're married, and you're the problem has been you keep finding broken men. Some people are married to a broken man. And they don't know what to do about it. You listen in today, because some of the jewels that he will give today will be the treasure that could change your life. To the men who are watching, lean in a little bit closer. Don't turn this off. Don't say, well, I'm doing pretty good in my life right now. Because a lot of men, we're doing good in our careers, but we're not doing good necessarily in other areas of our life. If our career is going great, sometimes our faith is slipping. If our faith is going good, sometimes something else, maybe you're so busy serving the church, you're no longer serving your family. So there's a balance that's needed. And Dr. Brad is really about helping men find that balance, and finding themselves, and finding their faith, and finding their God, and finding their identity. It is so important, such important work. So for you, when you think about men and broken men, Brad, from all the men you've worked with, what is it that you think is at the root of the brokenness in most of the men that you've talked to?
So most of the men that I work with are men who have succeeded to some degree, however you want to describe that, whether it's in corporate America, typically have had some degree of success in business or career. What they found is that as successful as they've been there and tried to do everything to find fulfillment in work, that they still find themselves being like, dude, like, this is not it. And at some point, you've got to answer another calling, because it's not why we're here. We're not here to just work. And the reality is, some of us, we're working, and that's all of, it's just our existence. Yeah. Like, we're merely existing, thinking that it's just work every day. When most of us are looking for true fulfillment.
Yes.
And so what I started realizing is that most of us are distracted. We're going after the wrong things. And listen, I'm going to be real with you, Lucas. I love making money. Let's be real.
It's not bad. Right? Not a problem. Not
Ain't
a bad
nothing wrong
thing.
with making money.
Right.
Ain't nothing wrong with making money. I've got a business. I've got a couple businesses that I have, but I had a bad priority. I wasn't prioritizing things right.
Okay.
Right. Like, profit was part of the main priority, and it wasn't me, truly trying to follow purpose. So I basically recognize there are three things that have prevented men from being the man that they want to be. Is either they don't have a relationship with God, they either don't truly know what their purpose is, or they're just not productive. They're not performing at the level that they want to. And I truly believe most men want to hit on all cylinders. Like you said, they want to be the man of God. They want to be a great husband. They want to be a great father. They want to be a great businessman. Like, they want to hit on all cylinders. They want to win in life and business.
Yes.
But how do you do that when you don't know how to?
Right.
So we don't have enough examples of men out here who are doing it. What's crazy is, I'm basically describing myself. This is how I figured out how to solve other people's problems, because I just didn't have the priority, man. I mean, other things were priority. I was unfulfilled. I wasn't being the best Christian husband, father, business owner that I could be. But here was the crazy part. My comfort is what prevented me from moving, because I was like, hey, look, I'm a doc. I've got this. So I'm doing better than most people. So I could always hide behind that level of success instead of moving forward.
The success trap.
Yes. And to me, that's worse than the guy who's not that successful, who's like, man, there's only one way to look is up. And I think about so many people who might be going through things right now, particularly during COVID. I'm like, man, if you have no other direction to go but up, this is a win for you.
Right.
This is a win for you.
Right.
Just move. Just start moving. Just start taking one step at a time. But to go back to the question that you were saying is, look, those are the three areas. It's people are either they're not who they want to be. They're not maximizing who they want to be because they either don't have that relationship with God. And here's the deal, Lucas. I did everything. I tried to do everything in my own power. And listen, my wife will tell you, I'm a motivated dude, man. I'll go hard. I'll go relentless. But when you start realizing the more you're trying to go and nothing is happening, and the more work that you do, you're still unfulfilled, and you still like, I am not happy.
Man.
that I eventually had to go to God. Like I was not someone who professed my faith, and I wasn't the case. But once it became my only option to get better, and then I actually took that door. Like when it was only one door left and available, like that was where I came to.
Wow.
Like it was only one door left, and I was like, I'm gonna reluctantly go here. But the problem was, I knew if I was to go to that door, that I was gonna have to admit that
Yes.
I couldn't figure out my own problems. And as men, we don't want to do that.
Nope.
What?
That's a
No, man.
loss. We don't want to lose. Mm-mm. Nope.
And here's what's crazy. Like, I'm for some reason doing this as if God don't know my own problems.
Right. Like he didn't know. Like if I open the door, I'm gonna have to tell him. Like he didn't
He's
know.
like, I've been trying to get you to this door the whole time, but we don't want to relent, man. I'm a prideful brother. I'll be the first to say that. Like, I'm prideful. Like,
Yeah.
I want to figure it out on my own, and I want to get the glory, and I want to say, oh, hey, I did it. Oh, don't miss that part that I did. You know what I'm saying?
That's big.
So I had to relent to that idea that I was not fully in control of my life. Nobody wants to admit that, Lucas. No one wants to admit that.
You're right.
I
Not
mean,
fully in control, especially a
I'm not,
man when we are raised to, in our society, in our culture, in America, we are raised to be the leaders, in control, composed, unemotional, able to get up. We fall down, we get up, we're strong, we're hunters, we're fighters, we're warriors. I can't admit that I don't have control. How do I protect my family if I have to look in the mirror and say I don't have control of my life? That's tough.
dude, I get it. If I got some brothers out there who are looking at this man, yeah, I get it's because I get it. Like
Yeah.
I've been there, but I don't want to relent. Not even to God. That's how prideful your boy is. I don't want to relent and
Man.
surrender to him having control. And the whole time he's like, if you give me my rightful part and position and priority in your life, just watch.
Right.
And I reluctantly fought and let it go. But it wasn't until then that I was able to truly understand and really tap into who I really was and supposed to be. And we're just getting started. And
Yes.
so as a result of that, man, came a coaching company where I focused on helping high achieving men successfully discover and pursue their purpose so they can win in life and business. From there came a Amazon best-selling book. And I'm not saying any of that stuff to brag on myself. I'm saying it to brag on God.
Yes.
Because it wasn't until I relented that I was able to figure out what the true potential was. Became a much better husband, father, Christian. And now it is my calling. It is my calling, what I was made for, to be able to help men experience the same exact thing. Most of us, we can't get past ourselves, man. And look, like I said, I get it. I completely get it.
Yeah.
But if I could just get that message to somebody, for them to maybe look at that door earlier than I did and be like, well, maybe I should look at that door. Like maybe I should consider that door before this brother did, because I ran myself into the ground, man. Sacrificed, almost my wife and my family because I was going after too many things that was not glorifying him. And now my goal is to try to help people get to where I'm at in a much shorter time frame.
I mean, your story is so cool because it all comes from brokenness. You had injuries that led you to wanting to be a doctor. So got a peek behind the scenes of what it looked like to help someone get healed and get healthy again, and went into becoming a doctor. To see broken men, to be a broken man. You saw yourself. And you found your road and you found a way closer to God. You took the door, you took the journey, you answered the call. And then you said, you know what? I don't want to see other men out here struggling, because who's out there helping them? Because men, the problem I see a lot of times with men is we don't want to admit that we're struggling. We don't want to tell anybody. When guys get together, we don't ask questions about how are you doing, right? What's up? What you into? Where you working? Oh, how's that going for you? Oh, any promotions lately? How's your wife? Oh, cool, good. We barely ask men about kids, because being fathers is not the thing that's glorified in our culture. What's glorified is your success. What's glorified is the money you're making. What's glorified is, are you holding things down because you have a level of success? So when we're failing and we get around other men, so many men are a bunch of peacocks. We're out here posturing and trying to look like we got it all together. And so nobody can go to another man and say, I'm broken. I need some help. I need somebody to help me get through this road. I'm struggling. I've been that person who's had success at work, but struggled at home. Had success professionally, but struggled. And it's like, how do I keep all these balls in the air? And at home, when I come home, I expect you to know me. At work, I gotta go and smile and be good and act like my life is together. When I come home, just sometimes you just gotta leave me alone because you understand life is stressful, work is stressful. But I say this all the time, and I'd love for you to elaborate on this thought. I say we often give our jobs the best of us and give our families the rest of us. Have you seen that in men? What do you think about that? Give our jobs the best of us. Give the people we say we do it for the rest of us, the leftovers. Is that something you've seen in men? Has that been you?
Oh man, that was me. That's one of the things that I try to help men understand is that we go the wrong direction to try to get to where we're going. So most of us are like, I want to achieve, and instead of being grounded, there are certain things that have to constantly be addressed and constantly be fed. It is your faith, it is your family, and it is your physical fitness. Like those three things cannot be let up, but those are the first three things that we do let up at the, to try and
for finance,
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're trying to achieve all this stuff. We let those three things go away, and what we don't realize is that those three things are essential in order for that other part to happen. But we do it at the sacrifice. The reality is we can't pour from an empty cup, man.
Yeah.
Like this is what we don't understand is that we can't pour from an empty cup, and our cups are not being filled every day intentionally with our faith, spending time with our family, and making sure that we are physically fit. Because the reality is if you far away from God, it's not going to work. If you and your family is torn apart, it's not going to work because at some point, it's going to come to a head and it's going to blow up. If your physical health is not constantly being addressed, it will blow up. These principles, are consistent no matter where they are in life. If you don't address this stuff, eventually it's just a ticking time bomb. And so we're like, I don't want to spend time doing that. We feel like, oh my gosh, it's going to take time. But here's the reality. If you don't do the physical fitness, eventually over time, between the stress and the bad eating and not working out, now you're going to have a heart attack. Now, guess what? Everything comes to a screeching halt.
Right.
And now you're going to spend more time trying to get yourself treated and trying to pick up the pieces because you didn't let this happen. Oh, my bad. Yes. Same thing with family. Oh, you're not giving the wife the time. You're not giving the kids the time. Guess what? Now you that angry dad and husband that come home because something didn't happen right at work. And they're trying to tell you, but eventually it doesn't happen. And eventually it's like, hey, look, we out. Now everything comes to a screeching halt to try and pick up the pieces again.
Yes.
When if just some consistency over time would have been met. Oh, guess what? You don't spend time toward faith consistently. These are all portions of pouring into your cup. Well, eventually you get to a point where you're so far away from God, you're like, how did I get here? How did I get, who am I?
Wow.
And so now you're spiritually broken, don't know who you are, who you hanging with, don't know what's going on. And now, again, everything comes to a screeching halt. So here's what I tell people is no, fulfillment first, success second. Matter of fact, your success is dependent upon the fulfillment. Wow. But nobody wants to hear that. No one wants to hear that.
Nobody's saying that. That's backwards. You just said, I think you might want to rephrase that. It sounds like you said it backwards.
Dude, it is you cannot. We are running on fumes, man. We trying to be the best businessman we are. Man, we talk about hashtag grind, hashtag hustle, this, that, and the other. And I'm like, man, that's all cool. But what's your faith, family, and fitness look like? Because you can hustle as much as you want, but it's going to come at the expense of what? Now everything goes downhill, and you're sitting here wondering, like, how did this happen? When if you want sustained success, see, bro, I don't want to just reach something. I don't want to just reach a goal. I want to get that goal and not only be able to reach it, but like live there, sustain it. Success is my address, period. Like that's why I stay. Yes. I ain't moving. And that is, I gotta stay consistent with those three things, man. Those things are the key. but we all want to go out there and hustle and do this, that, and the other. Well, I said, okay, cool. Let me talk to you in 5 years. Let me see what your family look like. Let me see what your faith look like, and let me see how you look. No,
Mm.
I'm helping men hit it on all cylinders so you can be the man of faith, be the man, the family man that you always wanted to be, and be kind of ready to take the shirt off whenever you know you
Well,
want to
just
go
have to
to
hit
the
the
beach
beach.
because you
Right.
just put in consistent time, and guess what? The business has happened. But nothing happened at the expense of something else. If
Mm.
anything, your sustained success came at the expense of sacrificing a little less at the beginning, which really ain't even the case. There's ways to be able to make sure that you grow despite the fact that you're spending time here. But now we don't sacrifice anything and we walk in our purpose for what God decided for us to do. And if you're doing it, make sure that He's in line and He's first anyway. Guess what? He's gonna protect you. He's gonna get you. I
Ooh.
didn't say that He's gonna have you uh, not feel any pain. I didn't
Okay.
say that.
All right.
I didn't say that. But I did say He got you, no matter what.
I don't even know what to say. The comments are coming in. The guests are excited. Those in the comments, the audience is excited. Some great men here today. Steve Beatty, my good friend, Chef Steve Beatty. You may have seen him on the show. He's in the comments. He sees. Here's what you're talking about. He said he's changing his hashtag. He can't have all those hashtag grind and all of that. He's got to get some balance. He said he's changing his hashtag. We have Pastor Hubert Carpenter. Thank you, my friend, for being here, and thank you for all your support. He said there's some good talking going on right here, some much needed information. So the other men out there, I see you guys out there, to the ladies out there who have been watching this broadcast, thank you guys so much. Don't be afraid. We still have a little time here, so don't be afraid to share this broadcast because somebody might need to hear what's about to be said. It could change somebody's life. It could save somebody's life, save their soul, and not only that, save them physically. If we get physically fit, we can extend our life so we can fulfill our purpose for a longer period of time. If we can pull our families together and be the leaders we're supposed to be in our families, we can have more balance and more peace to serve God at a higher level. So that's what this is all about. I'm a big fan of balance in life. I have an extreme personality. I don't know if you can see I'm a little bit crazy. But I like balance. I strive every day for balance. And Dr. Brad, when we talked that day, I went upstairs and I told my wife, I said, babe, I think I found a coach. I think I found somebody I got to work with. I know. She's like, what'd he say? Because my wife knows me like, I'm the guy helping everybody else out, right? So I don't look to a lot of people for help or, I mean, I have people in my life that I lean on for certain things. But I was like, I don't know. The recipe, the things that you were talking about to me on the phone that day, you gave me a free lesson, a free session. I want to thank you for that. It was so good. We talked about something, and I'd love for us to talk about this because we talked about our connection with God and our faith. And that's something that's so important to me. And through this crazy season, losing my mom, everything that's going on, it could be easy for me to lose faith. It could, through this new business that I'm doing now, I'm moving and grooving and meeting new people, and people are looking at me with some level of like celebrity, and I'm like, I'm just me. I don't know what you're talking about. But we talked about staying grounded. And one of the things I said, you talked about it, and I said, how smart it would be. I need to put my Bible on top of my laptop, so before I start working in the morning, I get into that word every day. And that's something you help men with. Talk to us a little bit about putting God first before everything else that comes in our life.
So I'm going to touch on something you said here in a little bit, and then I'm going to answer that question.
Yeah.
And I think somebody posed the question, how come men
Yes.
don't,
Admit
don't
it.
do this?
Yeah.
It's crazy, man. When I'm in my clinic, people come to me because something hurts and they come to get it fixed, right?
Yeah.
Well, the problem is one of the first things you have to do is admit that something is wrong.
Yes.
Like you have to, people will fall, hurt their ankle, or they got arthritis in their knee, and they could be like, dude, something is obviously wrong here. Like I need to go get this treated. The problem with us men is that we don't want to admit that something's wrong. I mean, you can't fix something that can't be identified as wrong.
Right.
Or that you aren't willing. The second part of that is, or that you aren't willing to get help from somebody else. So it requires two things for people to come to my clinic. They got to recognize something is wrong. Then they got to be willing to be like, all right, man, I'm willing to have you help me.
Yes.
By the time you come to that conclusion, the only thing there really is like, are you the guy to help me? Like
Right.
that's all I'm trying to figure out.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But we can't get to a point of healing if we don't think something is wrong. And let me
Yes.
tell you, there's not a single brother I know out there, because listen, man, Lucas, I can't say this enough. This was me. Dude, I'm telling you, I mean, on the outside, it was all good. Like, it was all good. So that's why I have no problem with people in my story. Like, oh, the dude you saw like 5, 6 years ago who was still looking like everything straight, that was the dude who was just straight like off the hinges. And you know, in my own time, when I got time with me, being like, man, like, what is going on? Like, who am I? Like, what is my purpose? I feel like there's something else, and I was just lost.
Yeah.
So I don't care how much you try to front, unless you can honestly say, like, bro, I'm so close to God right now. Things are great. I know exactly what my purpose is and can literally say it with crystal clear clarity in one sentence. And like, I'm doing the things that I'm supposed to do. Like, my habits are on point. If you're not there, here's the deal. I'm not saying I'm perfect. I'm just saying, like, I can help you get some of those things better, but you're going to have to admit. But the reason it's so tough for some people is because, one, they can't admit it. We
Right.
prideful. I get it. And they aren't willing to ask for someone else's help. But however, I will say this. Once you do that, man, once you can recognize my knee hurts,
Yes.
you know, we trying to walk around limping like, I'm all right, bro. You know, like,
I'm good. I'm good. Don't mind this. I'll be over there in a minute.
no, but you know what's funny though?
Yeah.
A physical injury is even better, because somebody can look, say,
Okay.
hold up, man,
Good
something
point.
is wrong. Like, you need to go see someone. Some stuff I'm talking about is hidden. That's why it's even worse. Because unless somebody knows you well enough to be like, hey, Lucas, hey, like, everything good? You know? So
Right.
until we get to that place, and I don't mind sharing my story, so that some other brother could be like, oh, wow, man, yeah, that's me. You know?
Yes.
Now, to talk about this, what you were saying about, you know, faith and like, how do we do some of these things, man? Here's the deal: we are only, as people, we are simply an expression of what we do consistently. We are only a collection of what we habitually do. We are a collection of our habits.
Yeah.
If you weigh 200 pounds, it is because there are habits that have kept you there. Like, good or bad, the things that you consistently do
Right.
creates who you are.
Right.
Period. It is what we do that creates us. Now, what people don't realize is that doing comes from belief. And we talked a little bit about that before. Like, faith does help to create movement. But when it comes to habits, man, we're just a collection or when it comes to who we are and what we've accomplished and what we're doing, we're just an expression of our habits. And I
Yes.
simply help people say, hey, I'm trying to get here. Well, then we just figure out what are the habits that we need to do there and actually create habits that work. Most people have no idea how to implement habits that work or rid themselves of bad habits. And once
Yes.
you can understand that, like, dude, it's all about habits. So somebody says, well, man, I have a goal to get closer to God. Well, here's the deal. There are people who are close to God who do certain things.
Right.
They have certain habits. Like, that's it.
That's it.
The question is, are you willing to learn those habits and then implement them into your life so that you can become that person? It's it's a it's a simple formula, but it's not easy to carry out.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Like,
Yes.
dude, Oprah is Oprah. Jordan is Jordan. These people are these people because of what they have done. And if you watch The Last Dance, I think we talked about it. Like, you watched
Yes.
it.
Absolutely.
There was a scene early on. It was like the second or third episode. Whenever he was at North Carolina, he just got to North Carolina. He was talking to Coach Roy Williams. He told Roy Williams, he said, "Man, I want to be the best that ever came. I want to be the best here."
Right.
He said, "Well, man, you're gonna have to do more work than what you did in high school." He was like, "Well, this is what I did in high school." He was like, "Yeah, that's not gonna work here." And he said, "Well, what do I have to do?" And he told him, he was like, "Well, I'm just gonna do better than that." See, once you can figure out what the things are that you have to do, now it's about doing them. because the reality is, Lucas, there's no barrier between you like going after what you have to do. Like, we live in a free world. Like, we don't have any barrier going after those things, but we have our own barriers of being able to go accomplish these things.
Right.
Why can't why are the gyms full in January and they empty in February?
Every year.
Every year. Here's what's crazy. 92% of people do not accomplish a New Year's goal.
Wow.
92% of people who set a New Year's resolution do not hit them. That means only 8% are accomplishing their New Year's resolutions. And it's because they don't know how to create a habit that works. Most people do the behavior, but they don't do the belief. And they lack that.
That's such a powerful statement. I think so. That's the deal. So the key is not just behavior change, because behavior change is powerful. You have to change behaviors, right? One behavior at a time. One thing I think about when it comes to habits, and there's a great book called Atomic Habits by James Clear.
Phenomenal
Powerful,
book.
Right?
You just bless these people. If you'd have just got in here, posted that book, said bye.
Right, that'd have been enough.
You just got blessed. Let me just tell you.
James Clear, Atomic Habits, powerful. He talks about habit stacking. He talks about little things that we do that will set us up for success or failure. So I always think about that. Like tomorrow, the gym's open near me. And, me and my guy and my son, we're going to the gym tomorrow. I pray to God we're going to stay safe. We'll wear masks, gloves. I don't know what we got to do. But, I've missed it for 2 months where I had a habit of going to the gym for the previous 7 months or something. A habit and a streak that I had not had most of my adult life. I had changed things. Part of the success were little things, though, like sitting my clothes next to my bed so that when I wake up in the morning, my shoes are there, my keys are there, my everything. I'm ready to go to the gym. I basically can roll out of bed and go. That's how we create habits. When it comes to studying the Bible, like you and I talked about, I have to put my Bible on top of my computer when I come to my office, when I come to the lab, when I come to the studio, the place where I do all the things that I do. What's going to be the first thing that I do? Jump into it? Yes, I got emails to answer. Yeah, I got people to get back to. Yes, I have meetings. Yes, I have a lot going on. But if I don't put God first, what good is any of it? If someone were to ask you about that, like, why God first? Isn't God understanding? Can I get him in where I can get him in? He'll understand. He's kind and loving. Why, Dr. Brad, should I put God first? Does it really matter?
Well, look, I can only talk from experience, man. I've done everything that could possibly be done to try and succeed in business and life. It wasn't until I surrendered to the fact that he knows what is best for me. He created me, and to trust his will for my life that things begin to go. There is clarity. Once I go to God, there is confidence, and there's a level of consistency. Yeah. So the absolute most important part of my day is the time that I spend in the Word and the time that I spend in prayer. It is non-negotiable. I mean, listen to what I'm telling you. It is non-negotiable. Wow. And here's what's crazy. I can remember hearing stuff like this, like what I'm saying, from either a pastor or whatever. It's like, okay, yeah, you got to, read the Bible. And I was like, man, that sounds extreme. And I wouldn't do it. And, it wasn't until I was like, man, maybe that works. It wasn't until I was like, you know what, maybe there's a reason why they say this. Again, I kept thinking my way was better. Like, that was the thing, is like, I just kept thinking like, no, like, maybe if I just do my own thing. But what we do is flawed. It's flawed. And until you can surrender to the idea that there is a God, somebody who knows well more than we do, where you begin to be able to say, okay, this is the ground, this is my foundation, this is where I'm grounded. And as a result of that relationship and consistency there, things will happen. That's why I tell people, I'm like, look, I'm just a living example of it. Like, he got me to a point to where I just had to look at him in order for things to be able to happen. He was just so crazy. My selfishness was almost used against me. He was like, all right, cool. Well, I'm going to let you figure it out. Like, go. Try to figure it out. And I selfishly tried to do it all on my own until it was like, all right, cool, man. Well, I guess I'm gonna have to roll with you. And like I said, open this last door because I'm so stubborn. I'm gonna figure this out. Even that's what it came down to. Is like I'm gonna figure this out, even if it means I gotta surrender my own will and what I think is this great way. But what people don't understand is the level of clarity, the level of see. Everybody wants to be crystal clear on at least the next step to take,
Right.
or at least the next step to take.
Right.
I can't say that God has given me clarity years beyond, and like it's just like this is how the path is going to be. Oftentimes, I do feel very clear at the end, but like I said at the beginning, I don't know how. But I've at least gotten extremely clear on the next step to take,
Yeah.
and confidence in being able to move forward. That comes directly. I'm not listen to what I'm telling you. Directly, not indirectly, as a result of the consistency and relationship that I have with God. Period. So if you want that, I'm giving you the keys.
Yes.
If you want to continue to say, I'm going to do it my way, and this dude, it sounds good, but I'm going to keep doing it. Hey, man, let's talk in a few years.
Yeah.
Because one or two things are going to happen. You either going to relent or you're going to keep on going down that path. And I'm going to be like, how's that working out for you?
Right.
But I'm going to ask you that question out of love because I want you to be where me and some of the other men that I've taught are. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. So good. I thank you so much for that and for that insight. I can't say enough how helpful talking to you has even been for me in a season when it's been tough. I mean, to be honest, I losing my mom after so much prayer and fasting that she was going to be healed and everything was going to work out great. It shook me a little bit, to be honest. You know what I mean? It shakes your faith a little bit. You're like, wait a minute, God. I thought if I ask and I pray and I fast and I do all these things, God, I will hear from heaven and you're going to answer my prayer. And whatsoever I ask in Jesus' name, it shall be done. And then it doesn't happen. And we're like, wait a minute, we're shaken to the core. And that's been tough. But I trust and I believe. I know God is God. I know He's real. I know He's there. I know He has a plan for me. And every day He shows me another step. And I don't know, like you said, I don't know the whole future, but I can see one step ahead. He just gives me daily bread to make it through. He gives me enough to keep the faith, to keep going. Dr. Brad, if you were to give our audience, men and women, one final thing for us to take home, one final jewel, one final gem for us to take home when it comes to our lives and balance and all the things that you teach men, give us that and then tell us how we can connect with you.
Yeah, so it's to truly, live the life that you want. I believe God has, if we truly took the word at face value, man, He's got a life that we can't even begin to imagine. He didn't say it was going to be pain free. Didn't say getting there was going to be easy, but I can assure you, everybody on here, it's going to be worth it. And to me, that's all I got to know. Like, is it worth it at the end? I'll put in the work, but is it worth it? And it's going to be worth it. And in order to get to that life, in order to live out your full purpose, in order to have peace, which is just simply priceless. It really is priceless. There are two relationships that you have to really tap into. It's all going to be about relationships in terms of getting to where you have to go. And first relationship is a vertical relationship with God. You got to establish that consistently. And then the second relationship, and I'll talk to women here in a minute, but for men, it's going to be a horizontal relationship with other men. So those two relationships, if you truly tap into those things, you'll get where you got to go. The reason being is God will give you clarity. He'll give you direction. And then with the right other men in your life who serve as examples of where you want to go. See, I've got another brother in my life who's my fitness coach, who I aim to get in a certain physical fit level. So he's in my life on purpose. See, I've got a business coach because I aspire to be somewhere, in business. I've got a spiritual coach. He and I do a call every Sunday, because I aspire to know the word better. And so these people are intentionally in my life to be able to be a certain person. And so, when you become intentional like that with the people who are around you, you can now begin to excel. And so this vertical relationship gives you clarity and gives you confidence. And now the horizontal relationship gives you the accountability and the coaching and the consistency. So now between those two things, you can set your eye on the prize and continue moving. But from a zoomed out perspective, those two things are gonna be huge for you. In terms of where to find me, uh, Dr. Brad. So you can follow me on all the social media channels at drbradmd.com. That's DRBRADMD. And on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn. I've got some freebies. Are you okay with me giving some free stuff to the folks who are listening?
Listen, I like when we give stuff to our people, okay? That's why I want people to join us, because I hope that they can get something great. So, yes, you guys stay tuned. Get ready.
So I got some freebies. So for those of you who are really trying to get some consistency with God, to be able to develop some consistency in that area, you can go to drbradmd.com/faith formula. So that's drbradmd.com /faith formula. That doctor is drbradmd.com /faith formula. And for those of you who are trying to discover your purpose, again, another freebie. This is free training. I mean, this is training that I've literally just gotten in here, and I've just like, you know what? How can I train somebody on how to, do some of these things, particularly for some of you guys who are looking to try and discover your purpose and how you can use that purpose to either pivot into a new business you want to do or just be more fulfilled in life. It's the same thing, drbradmd.com /pivot plan and pivot plan, PIVOT plan. And you can get a free training over there. Literally, it's just absolutely free. You click it, it'll take you there. And so hopefully that can help bless some of the people that you have. I'm always posting stuff, just trying to get folks to where they want to be. So you can find me if you want to reach out to me. Be happy to just DM me.
Love it, love it, love it. Dr. Brad, I thank you so much for being a guest here on Lucas Live. To our wonderful audience, thank you guys for joining us here, whether you're live or watching by replay. You guys make this show happen. I bring these people to give you guys this information, and I'm so grateful for great people like Dr. Brad here today who are so willing to come on and not only bless us with their time, but then he's giving back and giving us extra things. I put those, the website on the screen. You guys can see drbradmd.com /pivot plan is on the screen now. And then it was drbrad.com / what was the last one?
drbradmd.com /faith formula.
/faith formula.
All together.
Yes, was just on the screen a second ago. So go back and watch the replay if you missed it or if you didn't write it down. Or if you're watching this by replay, pause it, write it down, and click it. Also, check out our sponsor, Health Matching Account, HMA, at healthmatchsave.com. That was also on the screen throughout the broadcast. We're so grateful for you guys. We're so thankful for everybody. Steve Beatty, thank you so much. My wonderful aunt, Angela, thank you so much for being here. Shamar Logan, I look forward to having you here on the show very soon with our Stepping into Sisterhood Week, which is coming up very, very soon. I look forward to having all these great sisters from Stepping into Sisterhood. Ebony, Corinne, my beautiful wife, I appreciate you. Thank you so much for being here. Angela Hardesty, JJ Lilly, everybody who's here, everybody who's watching by replay, we really, really appreciate you. You guys, make sure you check out the YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe, hit that bell icon, hit all, so you guys can get all the notifications. Dr. Brad, I'd love to have you back if you'd be willing to come back again in the future.
Well, listen, you're going to be on my show. So first of all, thank you for everything that you're doing, because you're paving the way for messages that need to go out. They need to go out there. You've motivated me. I was just getting started on my show, so I've got so many questions for you on like how you're making this happen and what to do. So again, take notes.
Yes.
I'm following Lucas's lead. I'm like, okay, I'm trying to do a show. Guess what? I'm saying, hey, help! My show is limping. I'm coming to you to get help because I'm seeing something that's working, and
yes.
I'm completely willing to receive help and mentorship and coaching from you. So yes, we will be in contact, but you will be on my show. Just get ready.
I'd love it.
And we'll continue this conversation. But yes, listen, thank you, man. Thank
Absolutely.
you for following what has been in your heart, what I know God has had. And I already told you, bro, it's just a matter of time.
Yes.
You know our conversation.
Yes, yes.
It's simply a matter of time. So
I look forward to it. Thank you so much. And Dr. Brad, you stay on the line. You and I will have a quick chat when we finish here. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to be putting out some information. Make sure you guys join the Inner Circle. I have a lot going on. Charles Boone was on here tonight as well. He's made some special donations that we're going to be doing some giveaways. So you guys want to stay tuned. I'll be putting out information about that very soon. We have some interesting relationship topics that I'm going to be talking about really soon, and some late night Lucas Live events. So you guys stay tuned for that. Make sure you join the Inner Circle by texting Lucas Live to 31996. Make sure you guys do that today so that you are part, so you don't miss anything. Join the Inner Circle by texting Lucas Live to 31996. I'm also going to have some things that allow people to be even closer, and get some behind-the-scenes access and some special information. Our guests who've been coming on for the last week have been taking the time to record some special information with me after the show. I'm going to ask Dr. Brad to do something with me real quick, and I'm going to be sending that out to a special group of people who are going to come a little closer. So I'll let you guys know more information about that. For now, join the Inner Circle. Make sure you're at least in on that, because there's going to be great prizes coming your way, great information, and you guys are going to get a heads up about some up-and-coming things. Everybody, thank you so much for being here with us today. Dr. Brad, again, thank you so much for your time, your expertise, and all the wonderful information. From healing broken bones to healing broken men, you're doing a phenomenal job. Thank you so much. Everybody, have a great day.